All right, quick one-on-one. You saw that game, right? The Chiefs finally stopped the slide with a gritty 22-9 win over the Giants, and that single result did more than just get a W on the board. It nudged a whole lot of playoff math back in Kansas City's favor. Patrick Mahomes moved the offense when it counted, the defense forced turnovers at key moments, and Harrison Butker did what kickers do. He put points on the board. All of that combined to erase some of the panic and push projection. Models to say, okay, they're still in it. Here's the thing I want you to feel. This wasn't a blowout or a statement game. It was a practical, necessary win. Models and sites that track playoff odds adjusted the Chiefs' chances upward after the result, and suddenly the conversation shifted from how worried should we be to what are the realistic paths back. That kind of swing matters, not only for the team's confidence, but for how opponents prepare for Kansas City the next time they meet. Now, I want you to do one small thing for me right now. Hit that subscribe button if you're into straight no-fluff Chiefs breakdowns. We're chasing 5,000 subs to keep making faster videos like this. Also, drop a quick comment. Did you expect the Chiefs to win that game? Say yes or no and why. I read every single comment, and it really helps the channel. Before we go deeper, here are the quick headline takeaways you should remember from this win. 1. It stopped the immediate slide and flipped. Projection momentum. 2. It bought the team breathing room to regroup. 3. It highlighted the defense's ability to create stops when the offense sputters. Those 3 facts are why a 22-9 game matters more than the score alone. All right, now let's break down what the numbers are actually telling us. Before the Giants game, the Chiefs' playoff chances were hovering in the low to mid-50s percentile according to most predictive models, meaning the team was right on the bubble. After that 22-9 win, those odds jumped noticeably. ESPN's Football Power Index, for example, nudged them closer to 65% probability of making the postseason, and other predictive sites showed similar upward movement. That's a huge psychological lift for fans and players alike. Here's a simple way to think about it. These models factor in past performance, strength of schedule, remaining opponents, and home field advantage. One win doesn't magically make everything perfect, but it can shift the balance in a tight conference. That's exactly what happened here. Suddenly, the Chiefs are no longer just hoping for chaos to work in their favor. They're positioned to control their own destiny more than they had in the previous weeks. Let's get practical. What does this mean for the season? First, it means a few key upcoming games carry more weight. Wins against division rivals or strong conference opponents will now compound the playoff likelihood in a way that's visible in these projections. Second, it gives Mahomes and the coaching staff a margin for error, a safety net that didn't exist when the models were counting them out. I want to check in with you here. Which do you trust more, your gut as a Chiefs fan or the models? Comment below with models or gut, and let's see what this community thinks. It's always fun to compare what analytics say versus what your heart says about this team. One last thing. If you're enjoying this breakdown of how the Chiefs are positioned in the playoff race, do me a favor and smash that like button. It helps more fans see these updates, and we're trying to reach 5,000 subscribers so we can keep making in-depth videos like this every week. Now we're getting into the meat of it, the upcoming schedule and which games really matter for Kansas City. If you're a Chiefs fan, you already know not all games are created equal. Some wins feel routine, but there are matchups ahead that could make or break their playoff hopes. First up, divisional games. The AFC West is brutal, and facing teams like the Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers is never easy. A single slip-up in the division can cost a tiebreaker, which the models heavily factor into playoff probability. These games are high leverage. Win them, and you're controlling your destiny. Lose them, and suddenly the path gets much murkier. Then there's the big conference matchups. Games against teams like the Ravens or Bills are where the Chiefs can show if they're a serious Super Bowl contender or just a playoff hopeful. These aren't just another notch on the schedule. they're season-defining. Defense needs to step up, the offensive line has to hold Mahomes' time, and the receivers need to consistently make plays. One thing to watch in these games is matchup-specific strengths and weaknesses. For instance, if the opponent has a strong pass rush, watch how the Chiefs' O-line adjusts and how Mahomes reads pressure. If the other team has a vulnerable secondary, this is where receivers like Rashee Rice and rookie contributions can turn the tide. These details may not always show up in the projections, but they matter just as much as the numbers. Let me throw a quick question at you. Which upcoming game do you think is the most critical for the Chiefs' playoff chances? Drop it in the comments. Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, Ravens, Bills, or another. I'll be reading all your picks, and it's fun to see who the community thinks matters most. And of course, if you're following along and want to make sure you don't miss any of our deep dives on each of these matchups, hit that subscribe button. We're chasing 5,000 subs so we can keep bringing you breakdowns like this, and your support helps the channel grow every single day. All right, now let's talk about the stuff the numbers don't always capture, the X factors. These are the elements that can swing a game, a streak, or even the entire season. For the Chiefs, 3 major X factors stand out: injuries and recoveries, rookie, development, and defensive performance. First up, health. Injuries are part of football, and they can't be ignored. Even with a great win over the Giants, if key players like the offensive line or top defensive backs are sidelined, it changes the dynamic immediately. We've already seen how the Chiefs' depth is tested when a starter goes down, and the team's ability to adapt could define whether they cruise into the playoffs or stumble along the way. Next, rookies and young players. Guys like the new wide receivers or defensive backs can be wild cards. They might make game-changing plays, or they could struggle under pressure. In the Giants game, we saw flashes of promising talent that could become crucial down the stretch. These are the kinds of contributions that projections often miss because models can't predict breakout moments. Finally, let's talk defense. The Chiefs' D has shown it can create turnovers, slow down elite quarterbacks, and shift momentum in a heartbeat. Even if the offense sputters, a strong defensive performance can keep the team in games they might otherwise lose. Turnovers, red zone stops, and pressure on the quarterback are huge X factors that sometimes aren't reflected in playoff odds but matter every time the team hits the field. Here's a quick interaction for you. Which X factor do you think will have the biggest impact for the Chiefs this season? Health, rookies, or defense? Type your choice in the comments and tell me why. I love seeing your takes, and it makes the conversation way more fun. And of course, if you're enjoying this breakdown, hit the like button and subscribe so you can follow along as we track how these X factors play out. We're chasing 5,000 subs so we can keep delivering these deep dives faster and better for all Chiefs fans. Here we are, time to pull it all together. After the Giants win, the playoff models moving up, the key upcoming matchups, and the X factors in play, what does it all mean for the Chiefs? Let's break it down. First, the realistic outlook. The Chiefs are no longer just hoping for chaos to work in their favor. They control much of their destiny, especially if they take care of business in the divisional games and the key conference matchups. The win over the Giants gave them breathing room, but every game counts. A single slip-up could shift those playoff percentages back in a heartbeat. Next, priorities moving forward. Protecting Mahomes, keeping the defense clicking, and continuing to develop rookies are essential. Injuries are always a wild card, so depth and adaptability are critical. The team's ability to execute in those high-stakes games, the Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, Ravens, and Bills, will likely determine whether they secure home field advantage or face a tougher road in the postseason. Now the fan verdict, because let's be honest, we all want to feel it. The Chiefs have the talent, the coaching, and the momentum from the Giants' win to make a strong playoff push, but it won't be easy. Fans should expect battles in every big game, but there's reason to feel optimistic if the team stays focused and healthy. Before we close, I want to ask you, do you think the Chiefs will make the playoffs this year? Yes or no? Comment below. I'll be reading, and it's always great to see the community's perspective. And one last reminder, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button so you don't miss our next breakdown, like this video if you enjoyed it, and share it with fellow Chiefs fans. We're aiming for 5,000 subscribers, and your support keeps us going strong.